No, 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 Batman going down the motorway. Lorry comes the other way. Flatman. Right, so this is one of those rare occasions where I'm actually going to stay in the world of geekdom, but not video games. I'm actually going to be talking about The Batman, the upcoming film, which is now no longer going to star Ben Affleck. Why? Because I've been collecting these, the Batman comic, since 1992. Yes, I am very, very old. I just look beautiful and youthful. So, see you on the other side. Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface, stepping away, as I said, from video games. I'm going to do a little geeky video today. So if you do like it, that I just step away from games but stay in the world of geekdom, please do give this video a thumbs up or tell me in the comment section down below, and I'll do these every so often. But with that said, I'm now going to start the video by stripping. Okay. The reason why is I have one tattoo, and this is it. I had this tattoo, the brand of the bat, put on me 21 years ago, I think. About 21 years ago. I really started to get into Batman in 1989. I am so old! But when I was a kid, you were brought up on the Adam West Batman, the campy Batman. But when you're that young, you don't really realise that it's that campy. It's just entertainment for you. Look at Batman, he's punching all the villains. Oh no, he's going to get caught in a trap. Is he going to get out? I'll have to come back and watch tomorrow. All that kind of stuff. But Tim Burton created this really dark, broody, moody, murderous Batman in 1989, and as a kid that was starting to develop, you get into those emo phases, and the whole world's against me, and it just really appealed to me. Just like, wow, this is so cool. Hadn't really seen anything like this at the cinema before, and so I was under the age of 15. It was a 15 rated movie at the time, but I managed to pay my way into the cinema on my own, and I got in and I watched it, and I was just blown away by how fantastic it was. And then 3 years later, I think it was, that Batman Returns came out. I think it's 1992, and that was even darker than the original Batman from 89. And again, I thought it was wonderful. I thought this film was absolutely fantastic. And so it really kind of cemented my fascination, my love, whatever you want to call it, with Batman. And so I decided, since I had a little bit of disposable, I got a little bit of money every now and again, I decided I was actually going to learn more about this character and going to start picking up some comics. And I think it was roughly around Batman 476. It was the Pagan. It was the Pagan issue, and just coming up to the whole Nightfall situation. Nightfall being a storyline where Bane was introduced, and Bane released all of the supervillains, all of Batman's rogue gallery from Arkham Asylum, and he gradually went through them, trying to recapture them, and wearing himself down, and then eventually, when he was on the brink of exhaustion, Bane steps in, destroys Batman, breaks his back. It's a great, great series, Nightfall. And then Jean-Paul Vallée takes over. He was Azrael, and then he takes over as Asbats. And he assumes the mantle of Batman. He goes crazy. He starts murdering people. He perverts the Batman costume into this monstrous armored outfit. And it was wonderful stuff. And I was collecting the comic. I've been collecting the comic since then. And I dropped off around the year 2000. Thanks, Pulp. And then I started to pick the comics back up again intermittently throughout the noughties. And then about 6 or so years ago, about 6 or so years ago, I decided to really start to get back into my comics. So I've been collecting religiously since then. And I collect all the Bat titles. Batman, Nightwing, Batgirl, if it's got anything to do with Azrael, sure. Nightwing, if I hadn't mentioned him, Robin. I do tend to stay away from Damian Wayne's Robin, probably because I can't really relate to him. He's a child, and I can't really relate to that kind of stuff. I'm too old now. But I've gone through all the, I've gone through back issues, and my kind of collection went back at one point to like the Batman 200s or so. And, there's lots of stuff. There's loads of different iterations of Batman that you get to see. Different takes on Batman as they kind of reset the timelines every now and again. Just exactly where stories go and where the direction of the company takes this fantastic character. And I love Batman. I love him. Absolutely do. Now, throughout the noughties, of course, and into the teens, we got the great trilogy from Christopher Nolan, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. Absolutely incredible films, and some of the most authentic takes on Batman. If Batman was to truly exist in this day and age, this would kind of be how it was. So, yeah, the films weren't without their, little tweaks. And when I watch film versions of Batman, I never try and compare it to the comics. I understand that it's a different medium. I understand that it has to tell its story in a different way, in a much more compact way, whereas comics, of course, can go for multiple issues over multiple years to tie up threads, etc. And so I never go and go, well, that's not like the comic. And when Christian Bale stepped away and Zack Snyder took over, and we had Batman vs. Superman, although the film was terribly flawed, there were elements of those films where Batman was great. The killing stuff, not so much. That is such an important part of the Batman ethos that he doesn't kill. And the reason why he doesn't kill is if he kills, he's no better than the villains. And he understands that. He understands that he can teeter on the edge of the precipice, because he is brutal, and I'll get onto that in a minute. He can teeter on the edge of the precipice, but he doesn't ever fall in. You fall in, you are lost. That's his whole attitude. And another reason why he doesn't take a life is because he never wants anybody to feel the way that he felt when his parents were killed. So regardless of whether or not you're scum, or whether or not you're an upstanding member of the community, he will try everything in his power to prevent you from dying. So there is a very strong moral code in Batman, but that doesn't prevent him from being brutal. In the comics, he acts very brutal in his way that he will question people. He will literally torture people. He will stick batarangs in you. He will break bones. And I think in the film verse, the warehouse scene in Batman v Superman is actually, apart from the killing, if we took the killing out, is actually such a great and probably the best iteration of Batman from a comic perspective. If you were to put the two together, his speed, his brutality, his power, the way that he disarms the criminals. Like I said, just take the killing bit. Take the killing bit away, and it's absolutely perfect. And I thought the casting of Ben Affleck was brilliant. I really did. I think Ben Affleck, he's a big Batman fan himself, and he does really encompass, to me, the great duality of Bruce Wayne and Batman. And it was a shame that he didn't have the material I believed he deserved to work with. He could show moments of brilliance in the warehouse scene and things like that. And there was some great flashbacks to The Dark Knight Returns with his fight with Superman. But for the most part, obviously, the film was massively flawed because of the writing, etc. So if he had much better material to work with, I think people would look far more fondly upon Ben Affleck's version of Batman. So, we now know that he's going to step away. He's not only stepping away from directing duties, he's now stepping away from the role of Batman completely. And The Batman, which is going to be the title of the next film, at least it's the current title of the next film, is due for release in June, I believe, 2021. So just over 2 years away from now. And it's going to contain a younger Batman in the role. Now, it looks like DC are essentially resetting everything without saying, hey folks, we're resetting everything. But oddly enough, there's going to be a new Suicide Squad movie in 2021 as well, which will feature new cast, but most likely Margot Robbie, but I don't know. And of course, Gal Gadot is the only part of the DC universe that people really seem to like. I think Wonder Woman was a great film. And I think Gal Gadot is actually perfect as Wonder Woman. I think she's absolutely perfect in that role. And so for her to carry on, there's going to be these unfortunate sort of crossovers between the Zackverse and the reset. But with that said, whatever. And then, of course, we've got the Joker film. By just that little snippet that we've seen has already piqued my interest in something I had no interest in. But getting back to The Batman. So I just want to put a couple of things out there about what I would personally like to see. And I'm not going to hold up your time for too much longer. But I would like personally to see an unknown take the role of Batman. I think it would be better if we kind of steer away from the flavour of the month actors. Let's just see a real good, upcoming, but not so well-known actor take on this role. Get their teeth into this role. But obviously, make sure that they are severely qualified for this. We don't want to, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but it's going to come out disrespectfully. We don't want to CW Batman. No, we want to Bale Batman. We want somebody with that sort of gravitas, someone of that sort of level of acting, but an unknown. And if I could choose the storyline that they were to deal over the trilogy, possibly, if this restarts a new trilogy, I would absolutely love it if they did Hush. And some of you might say, Hush? Hush is potentially the greatest Batman story ever written. And I know there has been some incredible Batman stories written. But when I read Hush, Loeb, Lee, I was blown away. And I've read The Killing Joke and The Dark Knight Returns and all of all these major stories, The Long Halloween, etc., etc. But again, Loeb. But Hush, to me, just had everything. Everything a great Batman storyline should have. It had a very clever main villain in Hush. It brought in members of the Rogue Gallery. Pretty much all members of the Rogues Gallery. So there's great potential to get them in the films. Catwoman and his relationship with Catwoman. His complicated relationship with Catwoman. Robins who have been and gone. Dick Grayson, who's now Nightwing. Robins who are dead in Jason Todd. It just had every single thing that you could possibly want in a Batman storyline. And it was written perfectly, drawn perfectly. And if they were to do the Hush trilogy, the Hush storyline over a trilogy, they could really get their teeth into it. They could focus on the couple of villains in the one film while the main story pushes on to the next film and the next part of it comes in with the overarching Hush throughout the whole of the storyline. So I'm hopeful. I am hopeful. And I am genuinely sad to see Ben go because I thought he got a raw deal and he was excellent. But yeah, I am hopeful for the future. And if they choose the right story, and I think they should go to the lore of the comics to do this story, as opposed to creating something off their own back. There is so much great source material. Take advantage of it. This is what has made Batman so great over the course of the last 80 years. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Do I buy this model off Sideshow Collectibles? It's about £500. Oh, it's so good. Do let me know in the comment section down below. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming there. Also linked in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.